What's going on, everyone? Lilith here. I deposited the same amount of money into Yotta savings over the last 1 year. And today we're going to be answering how much interest in terms of APY, annual percentage yield, did I get till date. Yotta savings is a prize-linked savings account where you earn lottery tickets depending on how much money you have deposited with Yotta, as well as other qualifying activities. And the prize that's linked to it, it's essentially a jackpot all the way up to $10 million. Last year when the app was released, we went through what the app was, kind of the safety measures, the security measures, as well as A to Z of what Yotta Savings was, as well as a hands-on demo, as well as some pros and cons that I had at the time, and kind of some speculation to seeing what could be the future of Yotta Savings. Fast forward a year and we see how much APY I actually got. In addition, Yotta Savings has got numerous additional features, which we'll be going over step by step, because we'll look at the app again in its new fledged form. So opening up the app, this is what it looks like. So on the home screen over here, you got that jackpot of $10 million. And similar to the lottery, if you get all these numbers in a row, you'll get that $10 million. And what's circled in red over here on Sunday, which will come out as the Yotta number / the Yotta ball, which similar to the Powerball, if you're familiar with the American lottery, essentially if you're matching up all these numbers, you'll be eligible to get that $10 million. Now there's a bunch of sub prizes as well, so you don't need to get all the numbers to be eligible for any type of prize. You can still earn prizes weekly. At the top you got Yotta's notification panel. So for example, unlock more out of every paycheck, more fun with the Yotta card, which we'll get into those details very soon, deploy some bonus tickets, deposit directly into buckets, we'll get into that as well soon enough, and otherwise. So from there, get more tickets. You can get 100 tickets for every friend who joins. 2 referral upgrades get you to silver status. So just for an example, definitely there's some referral bonus that you can get by just telling folks, hey, join Yotta with my link and otherwise. So feel free to use my link, you know how it is. But with that, coming down over here, you got a jackpot of $10 million. And scrolling even further down, these picks over here, you can actually allow Yotta to choose those numbers for you instead of you sitting there and picking each and every lottery ticket. The reason I say this is, depending on how much you have with Yotta, you'll have X amount of tickets, and if you're referring more folks, you'll get even more tickets. So if you imagine sitting there and picking all these numbers, it can be very fun, and that's great. But every single week doing this, you may or may not want to spend that amount of time doing that, but it's definitely up to you. And if you look carefully over here, the pool payout. So we'll get into pools as well, where you can actually join folks' pools and you can kind of pool your tickets together instead of you just playing alone and otherwise. On that note, we got pool play. And I'm a part of 2 pools. So you got Sebby from the YouTube channel Ask Sebby. That's actually where I first learned about Yotta years ago. If you want to learn anything about credit cards, points, miles, check him out. And the private GS mentorship, GS stands for Stephan. So I'm part of these 2 pools. And as you scroll down, you got debit card prizes. So check out the biggest purchase users have won for free using their Yotta debit card. So there's an incentive essentially using the Yotta debit card where you can earn more tickets as you swipe. And looking at the prizes, you can actually filter from all the prizes to who are your friends connected on the app, as well as kind of this luck index, which is basically giving you a metric of how lucky you are, quote unquote, and comparing it to other folks. And Andre J, if you're here on YouTube, essentially most likely Andre Jick, where he combines magic and finance, so feel free to check him out. And he's the top winner this week. So yeah. A relatively new feature of Yotta Savings is their debit card, and so looking at it over here, you get a spending bonus of spend $2,000 before November 16th to get an extra 1,000 bonus tickets. And as you scroll down, you can win more free stuff if you choose to connect your direct deposit / payroll provider. And over here, you got tickets earned all the time for swiping, free stuff, and you can actually see your benefits. And you know, it's 0 right now. I prefer to spend on credit to get points and miles, but looking at these benefits, you can see where you get liability protection, 10% tickets back. For every $10 you spend, you get an extra ticket for next week's contest. And from there, you can actually get free stuff by using your debit card, and you get a metal card, as we mentioned, when you have 10 plus referrals. And so, like that, this is your basically summary view of your Yotta debit card. I deposited the same amount of money every single week into this app, not only to try it as an experiment and see how much APY I would get, but also literally to make this video that you're watching right now. So with that, here are the results. So looking over here, I got a balance of $655 and 21 cents. And if you look at the graph, the all-time graph, it pretty much is, you know, just linear, straight up. And that's really because of these consistent deposits that I've been making. And you can actually see these buckets where you can actually create buckets. For example, if you say new bucket, you got home, education, emergencies, etc. And on the flip side, if you actually make certain buckets, for example, you can manage these type of buckets where, you know, smash the like button, have a goal of 69,420. So core count of this much and you can actually transfer between your core account and other buckets accordingly. So when you go back and you scroll down, here are the results. Till the month of August for 2021, the realized APY is 1.42%. And if you look at September 21, month to date, essentially it's 1.39%. The savings reward of 0.68, aka 68 cents, and total prizes of $4.53. With Yotta savings, you're getting that 0.2% base no matter what, and then the prizes are that cherry on top, which can push up your APY per year. Looking at the history, basically you got 11 cents, got a pending deposit, 23 cents prize, saving bonus of a penny, 10 cents, etc. And just kind of showing you to give you this insight. From a pros versus cons perspective, and starting off with the pros first, looking at how savings accounts interest rates have changed over the years when they used to be 2%, 2.25, 2.5% around 3 years ago when we're talking about Marcus, Discover, Ally, and other competitors, and comparing that to Yotta, Yotta didn't look so hot. But fast forward, when you look at interest rates as they are today, when you're looking at 0.6%, 0.2%, kind of in that range, definitely when you see Yotta 0.2 at minimum, and then from there getting that prize potential, when you compare it from a savings accounts ecosystem purely and no other type of asset class or other types of accounts to earn more money, definitely Yotta's coming out ahead. Another pro is definitely it's kind of that gamification of savings where you have these lottery tickets, and as you keep money in there, you're actually getting these lottery tickets. Now, after a year later, look at the prizes that I've got, and if you look in comparison to just keeping cash in the bank, how much is that difference? Definitely, some may say it's negligible. But on the other hand, there's folks that are winning some prizes, so definitely there's an upside as long as you just have money and you're still saving. You're not really just having it in a checking account earning zero, or another savings account where you're earning 0% essentially as well. Another pro I noticed was something I want to call out of sight, out of mind. And maybe it's because of the basis for this experiment overall, but generally there's not a place where I log on my desktop or laptop where I see Yotta savings and I can transfer that cash out or do something else with it, go invest, etc. And so it being kind of isolated from my purview at least, I look at it like, hey, it was kind of just automatically doing its own thing and otherwise. But of course, there are these new features, for example, a Yotta debit card, where there are incentives to spend, where you get more tickets, and your buckets, for example, where folks are maybe interacting with the app more, which I didn't have a year ago. And so that's another pro, that there are these new features. But net, I really wasn't using maybe the app overall. Otherwise, everything was just going on in the background, and the results were still present nonetheless. Coming to it from a cons perspective, naturally, last year I did mention and talk about the ecosystem of, hey, you know, what is Yotta going to be? And fast forward a year later, like we just said, some of the pros of these new features are definitely there. Another con is maybe me being a little nitpicky, but really the savings account kind of reason is to put money aside and kind of allocate it for certain XYZ type of reasons. And those buckets that we talked about allocating to, you can lock them from withdrawals / put some type of rules so you're not really spending that money. But putting that gamification / incentive to actually spend on the Yotta debit card, in my personal opinion, and giving that incentive for more tickets, it's kind of saying like, hey, you can save, but we're also okay to save. And I think that there's a conflict of interest in that regard. Although that's the case, it may be the best step in the right direction for maybe someone who has no savings habit, and from saving they go into investing and then maybe become financially free just because of Yotta savings. So getting those personal finance kind of habits and disciplines, it all starts from somewhere. And if Yotta Savings is promoting that, then hey, I'm all for it. So with that, you know how it is. Thanks for coming to the end.